Hey, what's up guys? I often get asked by people when they're first starting with us, what can I do about my hands? Everything makes them hurt. They're starting to get calluses, they're rough, it hurts to hold onto the bar, etc., etc. So I want to make a quick little video of a couple of things that I've learned throughout the years that help me with hand care and will hopefully help you guys out as well. Number one, yes, this is tough on the hands. You're either holding a barbell or you're holding a pull-up bar or you're holding rings or you're doing something with your hands. And outside of the gym, depending on what your job is, more than likely you may not even use your hands that much, unless it's like on a mouse or a keyboard or on a cell phone. So this can be tough on the hands, and there is a period where things just have to kind of get used to it. So there is no way around that, unfortunately. I have seen people try to use gloves. I don't recommend them. It's not a, you look like a baby if you're wearing gloves kind of thing. It's more that I find that when you put a glove on, because it adds material to your hand, it's actually kind of similar to holding onto a bigger bar, which if you've ever had to hold onto a bigger bar, you know that that's even harder to hold onto. So number one, it makes your hand have to essentially hold onto a bigger object, which is always more difficult. Number two, it doesn't give you really any grip on the bar. Gloves can slide and glide, and that's kind of what they're made to do. So yeah, you won't get the calluses, but you also have very little control over what it is you're trying to do on the bar or with the barbell. And then number three, if you wear gloves, then your hands are never going to get the chance to actually adapt to what it is that we're doing here. And you've already established, that is an area of weakness. So why not work on it instead? A couple things though that you can do throughout the process to help out with your hands. Number one, so you're going to get calluses. You're going to get calluses right across, the first knuckle of your hands. The major thing that you don't want to happen is you don't want those calluses to build up and get really, really thick and hard and uneven. So uneven surface is bad, because what will happen is as you go to grab the bar, that if you have one callus that's like holding this giant chunk of skin, then that will kind of turn into a wrinkle. And now when you're holding the bar, it's pinching, you can see that, it's pinching that piece of skin, and that's what's going to cause more of a rip, more of a tear, something like that. So the one thing that I've found a lot of success with is some sort of hand care tool. So I like this guy. I think I got it like CVS or Walgreens. I think it's technically for your feet. It's like a heel scrubber. But I like it because it's got this like cheese grater side on one side, and then it's got more of like an emery board on the other side. Emery board or nail file works too. They're just not quite as aggressive as I would like, but this is great to finish. So what I'll typically do is I just keep this in our bathroom. Before I get in the shower at night, I go right across that part of my palm, so right across that first knuckle area. And it's not a totally flat surface, so you might have to kind of change your angles a little bit to get more specific with where you want it to be. I typically get more callus on the middle finger and the ring finger, so I like to go get in that groove really well. Don't spend too much time here. I've done that a couple times. You don't want to take it down to sensitive skin. That's kind of counterproductive. But all we want to do is just kind of keep it flat. So I think like a good general place to start is keep this in your bathroom or keep something similar in your bathroom, and every night before you go get in the shower, just hit your hand, 30 strokes, say. 30 strokes on one, 30 strokes on the other. I like to use the aggressive side for most of the work, and sometimes I'll flip it over just to kind of knock off any little traces of residue that are still there. Then I take my shower, right? Then when I get out of the shower, if my hands are really bad, I'll put some lotion on as well. I'm not a big lotion fan. I definitely don't like it on my hands during the day, so if I do put any on at all, it's usually at night. I don't have, well, that's not true. I do have a favorite. I use Aquaphor because my doctors recommended it during my accident, and it did some amazing things for the scars on my legs, so I kind of rely on it now. But that's only in extreme cases, or when my hands are starting to get really beat up, or sometimes when I do get a rip, then I use that to try to help them, as well as like Neosporin as far as helping them heal back up. But during that healing process, I'm still, once there's enough skin back on there, hitting it with the scrubber just to make sure that it stays nice and smooth so that we don't have the same problem all over again a little bit further down the road. In addition to that, When you do use chalk in the gym, make sure you wash it off immediately. So, before you even leave the gym, I would go wash your hands really good with soap and water, get that chalk off it. Not the whole point, but one point of chalk is to absorb moisture. And so the longer it stays on your hands, the more it's just sucking what little bit of moisture you still have in your hands out. So get it off as soon as you don't need it. And again, if you like lotion, then maybe you put some lotion on as well, but I just go with soap and water, and that usually takes care of me for the rest of the day. Outside of those things, I don't really do anything as far as maintenance goes, but I will say if I'm in a workout and maybe my hands are a little beat up one day and the workout just tends to be really tough on grip, or maybe it's a lot of kipping, things that have been known to create more tears and rips in the hands, I won't take it that far. And it just depends on what your goals are. If I can feel a tear coming on, I'll switch. Maybe I'll finish with strict pull-ups, or maybe I'll try to adjust my grip so I get the bar more in the fingers rather than where I feel that tear coming on. Or I have, in the past, I've even stopped completely. I don't think ripping your skin is worth it because it takes so long to heal back. And then unless you're doing this for like a competitive thing, I don't think it's gonna be worth it in the long run. So I'll stop short if I feel like a rip is coming on. That being said, if you haven't ripped yet, you're gonna rip at some point, probably. And there's just there's some workouts where it's just like the perfect number of pull-ups where there's just no avoiding it. It's gonna happen. And you don't always feel it coming on. Sometimes you don't feel it at all until you look down and you see that your hand is bleeding. And there's usually like a tag of skin hanging off. It's pretty gross. It'll grow back. It's not the end of the world. Yes, and I know for some of you ladies out there, the idea of having callous, rough hands is very, unappealing to you, or maybe you think it's unappealing to whoever it is you're trying to impress. But, I think that it's more important to have hands that are actually capable to do something. So it's going to be a little rough on the hands. Just do your best to take care of them and know that it's not abnormal to have actually tough hands. All right, I hope that helps you out, and see you guys in the gym soon.